Welcome to the Legacy Life Monday night call. And, we put these together to give you guys, actionable, real knowledge on, how to sell, how to build, how to recruit, really just how to have this business be successful for you and how to get as much out of this as you humanly possibly can. And if we haven't had the chance to meet yet, my name is Nick. I got introduced to this about 2.5 years ago. And when I got introduced to the insurance business, I'd never done insurance before. I didn't know if I could do insurance, quite frankly. I didn't know if my skill set that I brought to the table from previous business experience, I didn't know if it was applicable, to the insurance business. When I thought insurance, I thought boring. I thought, like Dan says, like a brown briefcase and a brown suit. And I had no idea that this business was so exciting. And not just like the money part, is exciting, but what we do is important. Okay, if you don't have that in your mind or in your heart by now, like what we do really is important. People need what we have. And I feel like lots of times maybe you don't realize that until you do your first death claim. And what we do here really is important. People need what we have. And what I love about this is we can help everybody, really, from someone who just needs a couple $1,000s to bury, for their family, to cover the cost of burial and funeral and all that kind of stuff, all the way to people who have, tens or hundreds of millions of dollars, and they need to do something with that money, make sure that they protect it and don't outlive it. And so we can quite frankly help everybody. And I'm really proud of what we've done as a group, as an organization. We're one of the fastest growing insurance agencies that out there. And I feel like I know we can go faster. I know we can go bigger. I know we can do a lot of things better. And I'm excited to tell you, like, we're working on a lot of stuff to scale this thing even more, to make it even easier, even better for all of us on here to grow a big organization and to write more bit, all that good stuff. And so excited for where we are. And tonight, I'm going to be talking about the dials. Okay. And making the phone calls. And specifically on this call tonight, okay, what I'm talking about is making the calls to direct mail leads. Okay. You might be working some other kind of lead. That's great, but there's other scripts for that. Okay. I'm talking about the bulk of our organization right now is working direct mail final expense leads. And so I'm going to teach you how to call, direct mail final expense leads. In fact, when I first got started in this business, like I said, about 2.5 years ago, I'd never done anything like this before, didn't know what to do. I heard that there was leads, and I liked that there was leads. I liked that I could talk to people that, were trying to get some sort of information about this. And it wasn't me reaching out to them, cold, if you will. So I liked that there was leads, but it's like, how do we talk to leads? How do we call to leads? What do we say? And, if if there's a bunch of you guys on here that I've dialed with, it's a certain set of skills. So that's what I'm going to go over tonight. And I'll preface all this by saying that for most people, for a lot of people, the dials is their least favorite part of the business. Like if we were to rank all the different parts of the business from, least favorite to most favorite, dials probably is at the bottom of the list. Okay. It's not that fun. Okay. It's everybody's least favorite part. But what I did when I first got started, and if you're just now getting started or you've been in the game for a little bit, whatever, and maybe you're not getting the results that you want, sales wise or, income wise or whatever it happens to be, or you're brand new and it's like, how do I make a bunch of money at this? You need to get good at the dials. Okay. When I first got started, I did exactly what Mark Hutchison told me to do. Okay. And a lot of what I'm going to teach you guys tonight, I got from Mark Hutchison, because Mark Hutchison is basically the GOAT at insurance. Like, the dude is incredible at this. Okay. So, we're lucky that we get to work with Mark, and we get to, work with Mark, learn from Mark. Like, I personally learned from Mark when I first got started. I was on the phone with him probably 10 times a day. He probably got tired of talking to me. But I did exactly what Mark told me to do. So here's what I'm here to tell you guys. If you do what we tell you to do, this will work. Okay. You don't need to make your own script. You don't need to come up with your own stuff. Okay. If you do what we tell you to do, like, this works. If you do something else, I don't really know what's going to happen. So, getting into it with the dials, a couple of quick things before I talk about, how to dial, what to say, all that kind of stuff. And if you guys do have questions as we go throughout this, feel free to put your questions in the chat. I'm happy to go through a bunch of those. But, when you're making the dials, a couple of things just to keep in mind. Okay. You need to have the right mindset before you pick up the phone. Okay. There's so many people out there that they're afraid to pick up the phone. Okay. They're afraid to make the phone calls. They're afraid to make the dials. And you need to have the right mindset. Like, number one, we're not cold calling. Okay. We are not soliciting. We're not cold calling. We're not doing any of that. What we're doing is we're getting back to people who requested information. In fact, on the final expense direct mail leads, the people that we're getting back to, they're a part of a special elite group of people that filled out a card in the mail that it says life insurance on the dang card, and they filled that thing out. Okay, they filled it out and they put their name on there, they put their address on there, even though their address, we mailed it to them, like, girl, we know your address, you know what I mean? So they put their name, they rewrote their address, they put their age on there. Lots of times they ask their wife, hey, honey, how old are you again? Oh, yeah, I'm 72. And so they got their wife's age on there or the husband's age on there, okay? And they put all that stuff, they wrote that down on a little card, okay? And then they took that card and they walked it out to the mailbox, okay? Like they physically walked to the mailbox, put it in the mailbox, put the little thingy up, okay, the little flag to tell the mail person they got mail to send out, okay, and then they sent that little postcard back to us, okay? Those are the people that we're talking to. So when they tell you, like, and I'm going to go through objections, I'm going to go through a bunch of different stuff, but when you're on the phone with them and they tell you whatever they're going to tell you, okay, and they're going to tell you all kinds of crazy stuff, just remember, you're talking to the elite. You're talking to the people that filled out the card. Okay, they walked it out to the mailbox. Those are the people that you're talking to. You're not cold calling. You're not calling up a business and saying, hey, who wants to get life insurance over there? You know, these are people that requested information about life insurance. So if you have a different mindset about the leads, okay, and it's just lightning, and I think, oh no, the power didn't go out. All right, I guess if the power went out, we get disconnected. So the colors changed. You know, if your mindset is anything other than, I'm talking to people that actually want to get information about this, you need to check yourself. You need to check your attitude before you make the dials. You just got to realize that everybody wants to make lots of money. Okay, everybody wants to, you know, make six figures, multiple six figures, $500,000, $1 million a year in this business. Everybody wants to do that. You want to know what separates the people who actually do that and the people who don't do that? As far as selling insurance, it's the dials. It's the dials, okay? Because if you don't make enough dials, you don't get enough appointments. You don't get enough appointments, then you don't sit in front of enough people. You don't sit in front of enough people, you don't make enough sales, and it all stems back to the dials. Okay, so if I did anything right at the very beginning, I surrendered myself that I'm gonna have to make these phone calls and I'm gonna have to dial like a maniac on the phone to the leads. I just surrendered to that. And I decided, like, if that's what it takes to win here, like, that's what I'm gonna do. And some of you guys just haven't, haven't come to terms with that. Like, you need to make the dials, okay? You got to pick up the phone, you got to call the leads, all right? But as far as getting the appointments, and I'm talking about final expense direct mail, like, you got to make the dials. So I'm gonna go over some stuff here on the whiteboard. Hopefully this works out. Hopefully let me know if it comes out backwards. Hopefully it doesn't come out backwards. But something that I learned from Mark Aceta back in the day, long time ago, was really like there's 4 stages of growth in anything that you do. Okay. And the first stage is where you are unconsciously incompetent. Okay. And let me know if that's backwards or if that's, right side up. But you are unconsciously incompetent. What that means is that you suck and you don't know that you suck. Okay, so you're unconsciously incompetent. You don't know how to make the phone calls, okay, and you don't know that you don't know how to make the phone calls. So you watch a video of Mark Hutchison on our new agent course, and you see Mark make the dials, like, golly, this is so easy. You watch me make the dials, and you're like, man, like, gosh, why doesn't everybody do this business? It's crazy. It's just like we make it look easy because we went through all 4 of these stages, and you're at this first stage where basically you suck and you don't know that you suck. Okay, and that brings us to the next stage, is where you become consciously I'm right. You become consciously incompetent, meaning that now you start to make the dials. Okay, this is the stage in your business where you get the leads, you've printed them out, you're excited, you sit down there at your desk and you're ready to, make your dials. Okay, and then you start making the dials, and the first lady goes, don't you ever call me again? They just start screaming, like they're rabid on the phone, and you're like, holy crap, like, this is way harder than I thought. Okay, you go from unconsciously incompetent, you don't know that you suck, to now you know that you suck. Okay, that's consciously incompetent. And here's what I want you guys to know is 99% of everybody quits 99% of everything that they ever do right here. Okay, you go out there to go play ping pong, and you're like, oh, ping pong's easier. Paddle, or what's the dang it, it's not ping pong. It's Mike is gonna kill me. What's it called? The new one that everybody's into. Whatever. It's not racquetball. It's not ping pong. It's not tennis. It's the other one. And everybody's into that thing right now. That sport, and it's a great sport. Okay, someone hopefully told me. Pickleball. There we go. So you like, oh, you see these guys play pickleball. Like, let me go play some pickleball. That looks easy. And you go play pickleball, and it looks easy. And then you try it, and you become consciously incompetent. You're like, holy crap, I suck at this. And some guy like Mike, or better yet, some 65-year-old who's been playing pickleball, just absolutely wrecks you. Okay, that's where you're consciously incompetent. This is, again, where most everybody quits most about everything. Okay, and this is where you're going to quit this business if you don't get good at dialing. Okay, because you are going to suck at making the dials. And when you find out that you suck at making the dials, you either push through that and get to this next stage, okay, or you quit. And I'm just telling you, this is worth getting good at. Okay, like I made like $140,000 my first year in this business, completely from scratch, not because I'm so great. I learned from Mark Hutchison, and I did what he told me to do, and I went through this just like everybody else has to go through this. And here's the cool thing: is once you get it, you got it. Okay, like once you get good at making the dials, you're good at making the dials. You don't have to relearn making the dials. Okay, you just get good at it. So this is where you find out that you suck, and then really where you want to get to, especially the beginning, is where you become consciously competent. Okay, consciously competent means you know that you can do it. Okay, you have to try, you have to think. Okay, but you can do it. You can make the phone calls. You can get appointments, and maybe you're still working on it. Maybe not. Maybe it's not natural to you yet. Okay, this is where you're playing a sport. Maybe you're pickleball, and you find out that you suck. You keep playing. You keep playing. You keep playing, and eventually, like, you got to think about, like, what are you doing? Every time the ball comes, you're thinking about, where do I put my racket? What do I do? Where do I step? Where do I go next? All that kind of stuff. You have to think about it, but you can do it, and you're competent at it. Okay. Going from here to here, I'm telling you guys, like, this is it in this business. Okay. And going from consciously incompetent to consciously competent. Once you get here, okay, you can make money here just on effort, for sure. Okay. You can really start to make a lot of money here because you start working on your skills. You start getting better and better and better. All right, that's consciously competent. And then where you ultimately want to get to is where everybody wants to get to, is where you are unconsciously competent. Okay, this is where you hear Mark on a phone, or if, like I said, if we've dialed together, I might make it look easy. Sometimes I get frustrated too. But I did some dials like 2 weeks ago, and I wanted to pull my hair out. But this is where it's natural, it's easy. You don't have to think about it, and you can just dial, and it's easy. Okay, so I'm going to talk about, like, what do we say on the phone, all that good stuff. But I just want to plant this in your mind at the very beginning. Like, this is how this business goes. This goes for the dials, this goes for running the appointments, this goes for just about, everything, not just in this business, but quite frankly, in life. And so, all right. So you want to get, if you're not yet to the point where you're consciously competent, you need to get there ASAP. And the only way to get from, stage 2 to stage 3, from, consciously incompetent to consciously competent, is repetition. Repetition. That's the only way that you get there. That's how I got there. You know what I mean? I promise you, in all of our trainings, everything that you're being taught to do, as far as like the dials, the in-home, all that kind of stuff, I promise you, I've done all of it. In fact, I would venture to say that I've probably done more of it than everybody else on the team. Okay, like, I've done all those things. Okay, and I did all those things day in and day out. Okay, and I'm just here to tell you, like, it works and it's worth getting good at, but the only way you get good at something is doing it over and over and over again from repetition. So as far as what do we say on the phone, okay, and like the script and all that kind of stuff. So make sure that this is dry here. So understand it's going to take, a little bit of time. The good thing is that it doesn't have to take forever to get good at this. Okay. In fact, what I did at the very beginning is I read the script. Mark Hutchison sent me a script. We've got a script on our website. I read the script. Okay. I didn't think about the script while I was talking. Okay. That's what a bunch of you guys try to do, is you think about the script. Oh, what am I supposed to say? I read it. Okay. And you get better and better and better. Before you know it, you could just recite that thing like the Pledge of Allegiance. You know what I mean? You don't even have to think about it. And then you can start adding in your own flavor. But most people, you think instead of reading the script, you think about the script while you talk. Okay. And I'm just here to tell you that that's stupid. I wouldn't do that. I would read the script. Okay. That's exactly what I did. So I'm going to tell you guys the script. There's 3 parts of the script. All right. And you can go on legacylife.co right now. You can go download the script. It's all on there. The first part is the intro. Okay. First part of the script is the intro. And, the reason that the intro is important is because people make a decision whether or not they're going to listen to you, stay on the phone with you, talk to you, insert whatever. They're going to make that decision, especially over the phone. And the first 10 seconds, okay, from the moment you open your mouth until, they like that's where they're deciding, like, am I hanging up or not hanging up? Okay. In fact, I had some random phone number call me today, and the lady's like, hey, is this Nick? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, oh, okay, yeah, I'm looking for Nick. I'm like, okay, how can I help you? All right, like, girl, I'm busy. What's going on here? And then she starts going off about some crap. And I just clicked, I just hung up on her. Okay, I made that decision the first 10, 15 seconds. Well, your clients, your leads are making that decision in the first 10 to 15 seconds that you're talking to them. Okay, and so the intro is critical. The intro is important. Here's the intro. Their name, comma. That's it. Or the other version is, hey, their name. So if I'm calling Mike, I'm going to say Mike, like Mike answers. I'm just going to say Mike. And here's what's important. If you're on here, if you're taking notes, if you're, wanting to get better at the dials, your tone is everything. It needs to be low and slow. Okay. Low and slow. Not excited. Okay, I know you're sitting there making these dials and you get bored, and then someone finally answers and you want to be like, Susan, hey, Susan, how are you? Yeah, you don't want to sound excited. And I know it's really hard. I came from a business where, it's like you wanted to sound excited when people talk to me on the phone. In this, when you're dialing the leads, you do not want to sound excited. You want to know who sounds excited. Telemarketers sound excited. We are not telemarketers. We're not solicitors. Okay. They reached out to us to try to get information. Okay. So you want to be different than anyone else who's ever called them about insurance. Okay. And you do that by just being low and slow on the phone. You want to be low energy on the phone, high energy at the home. So it's an even tone, even everything. It's just, Susan. Yeah. Hey, Susan. And hey, Susan, this is Nick at the Benefit Center here in Jefferson County. That's my intro. Susan, yeah. Hey, Susan, this is Nick at the Benefit Center here in Jefferson County. That's my intro. That's it. Okay. And that's where they decide whether they're going to hang up or not hang up. Okay. Hey, Susan, this is Nick. This is, say your name, not my name. Okay. At the Colorado Benefit Center. Hopefully you guys can read all that. Not totally. All right, close enough. And that's it. Okay. The second part of the call is the reason for the call. So Susan is sitting there on the other line. Okay. And she is thinking like, well, you got the right person, but who the heck are you? Well, I'm Nick with the Benefit Center here in Jefferson County. The reason I'm giving you a quick call is I'm getting back to you about that little form that you filled out. It was a little postcard, and it was talking about the funeral and final expense coverage for Colorado residents. And Susan, I just need to make sure that we're going to get this out to the right place. Are you still over there at 123 Main Street? That's the reason for the call. Okay. And I'll say it again for you guys. I'll do the whole thing. So here's the intro. Susan. Yep. Hey, Susan, this is Nick at the Benefit Center here in Jefferson County. The reason, Susan, that I'm giving you a quick call is I'm getting back with you about that little form that you'd filled out. It was a little postcard, and it was talking about the funeral and final expense life insurance for Colorado residents. I just got to make sure that we're getting this out to the right place. Are you still over there at 123 Main Street? So the first question that's out of my mouth is, are you still at X address? Okay, because we've got her address, and I want to ask her a question that she knows the answer to. Here's the thing: you want to talk fast enough that you're not going to, let me rephrase that. You want to talk slow enough that they can understand you, but fast enough that they're not going to, interject. Oh, what's the benefits center? Because people do that. And when you're new, it'll catch you off guard. So, Susan, yep. Hey, Susan, this is Nick at the Benefit Center here in Jefferson County. The reason I'm giving you a quick call is I'm getting back with you about that little form that you had filled out. It was a little postcard, and it was talking about the funeral and final expense life insurance for Colorado residents. I just need to confirm your address here. Are you still at 1234 Main Street? That's the intro. That's the reason. The third part is the appointment. Okay. And listen, they're 95 times out of 100, they're still at the same address. Okay. Unless you're calling, really, really old leads. Lots of times they are at the same address. And so you confirm the address and say, okay, the next part is the appointment. Okay. This is really why we called them. And here's what I want you guys to know is it's our job to schedule the appointment. It's their job to, I'm just telling you, let me back up. You will meet some fantastic, phenomenal, wonderful people out there in the world that filled out these postcards. You will meet people like a couple months back, I had dinner with one of my clients, like me, my wife, my kids, like they're just great people. Okay. And they're great. We get along, we've got similar views and all kinds of stuff like that. They could be just, they're great people. I like being around them. You will meet some incredible people, but on the phone, okay, even the incredible people, okay, on the phone, they might be crazy. Okay. They might be rabid. They might, they might, they might make you question, why you're in this business on the phone. Okay. It's like people on the internet, right? Like people on the internet, they're crazy. They'll talk all kinds of smack on the internet. It's totally different when you're in person with them. And so, same thing over the phone. So, they might be crazy on the phone, but I'm just telling you, tons of these people are just phenomenal, awesome people, when you actually go meet them. So your job is to get the appointment with them. That's our only job on this phone call, is this part right here. This is the intro. This is the reason for the call, but this is why we called. Okay. Their job is to wiggle and not schedule an appointment. That's what they're going to try to do. Okay. Even if they need life insurance, even if they desperately need life insurance, they are going to try to wiggle and not book a call with you. So your job is to book the appointment. Here's what I say to book the appointment. Hey, Susan, the reason I'm giving you a quick call is I'm getting back with you about that little form you filled out, blah, 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 blah. Are you still at 1234 Main Street? Yes, I am. Okay, great. Here's what you say. Read the script. Don't change it. My job is real simple. Hey, you still over there, 123 Main Street? Yes. Awesome. Listen, Susan, my job is real simple. They've got me out on your side of town the next couple of days, getting this information out to you and about 10 other families that requested it as well. I'm just calling to see, are you typically around in the morning, afternoon, or evening for about 10 to 15 minutes? That's it. I asked for the appointment. And they're going to tell you all kinds of different stuff right there. Okay. And I'm giving them 3 options: morning, afternoon, evening, for about 10 to 15 minutes for me to get you the information that you requested. And, lots of times they're like, hey, I'm around in the mornings. Great. Is 8:30 good or is 10:30 better? Is 10 o'clock good or would 11:30 be better? So I'll give them 2 options. They pick one. Okay, great. Listen, and everything else is just centered around, confirming the appointment right here. So, great. So I got you down for 10 o'clock, Susan. And if you're writing any of this down, my name is Nick, just N-I-C-K. And Susan, I'm going to do my best to be there right at 10 o'clock. Notice how many times I keep repeating, hey, I'm going to be there at 10. You writing any of this down? You should probably write my name down. I'm going to do my best to be there right at 10 o'clock. But if I'm a little bit late, it's just traffic getting around town, that type of thing. But I'm going to do my best to be there right at 10. Okay. Oh, okay. All right, great. So Susan, I'll see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. You have a blessed rest of your day. Lots of times you will get lots of easy ones. If you're low and slow, you're very matter of fact. You make it, this sounds crazy, but you make it sound like you have to call them because they sent the form in. You got to come by and get them the information because they sent the form in. Now, sometimes you're going to get objections. Okay. And I'll talk about that here in a second. Let me give you the whole thing completely. Ring, ring, ring. Susan. Yep. Hey, Susan, this is Nick at the benefit center here in Jefferson County. And Susan, the reason I'm giving you a quick call is I'm just getting back with you about that little form that you'd filled out. It was a little postcard and it was talking about the funeral and final expense coverage for Colorado residents. And I just need to make sure that we've got the right address here. Are you still over there at 123 Main Street? Yep. Okay, awesome. So yeah, Susan, my job is real simple. They've got me out on your side of town tomorrow, getting this information out to you and about 10 other families that requested it as well. I'm just calling to see, are you typically around in the mornings, afternoons, or evenings for about 10 to 15 minutes? Mornings, awesome. Is 8:30 good, or would 10 o'clock be better? 10 is better. Okay, perfect. So Susan, I've got you down for 10 o'clock. If you're writing any of this down, my name is Nick, just Nick, and I'm going to do my best to be there right on time. If I'm a little bit late, it's just traffic getting around town, but I'm going to do my best to be there right at 10 o'clock, okay? Okay, great. So got you down for 10 o'clock, and Susan, you have a blessed rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow at 10. That's it. Okay. And it doesn't always go that smooth. Now, if you buy the brand new leads, you're going to get a lot more smooth conversations like that. If you do the brand new ones, you're going to get a lot more smooth conversations like that. The older leads, like, listen, you could completely grow an entire business. You could go right, 200,000-300,000 just on old leads. Okay. They just might be a little wigglier. Okay. On the phone, but who cares? You know what I mean? Like, I started on old leads. I started on them. That's all I did, at the very beginning. And so, some of you are going, well, when I make the phone calls, it doesn't sound like that. Well, you're probably saying something different. Number one. Okay. You're not reading the script like you probably ought to be. Number two. Or they're giving you objections. Okay. Number three. So I'm going to talk about the objections. And what do you say? There's really only a couple different objections that people are going to give you. And when it comes to objections, this is all objections. Okay. Give me a thumbs up if y'all are getting some good stuff out of this. Give me a thumbs up here. I know we got a bunch of people on here. Appreciate y'all. What's up? What's up? What's up? There we go. Nice. We got all kinds of appreciate it. Dang. All right. I hope that's not just one person smashing the button 100 times. When it comes to the objections, okay, so they're going to give you objections on the phone. What is the benefit center? What did I send in? I don't remember sending that in. Oh, I'm not interested anymore. They're going to give you all sorts of objections. Here is the formula for all objections on the phone. Again, your job is to book the appointment. Their job is to wiggle out of the appointment. So when they give you an objection, just realize that's just a little wiggle. Okay, it's all good. You don't need to freak out. What you do for an objection is you acknowledge the objection first. Okay, you are going to acknowledge that objection. And then you are going to ignore that objection. Okay, and I know that, holy smokes, that's some crazy lighting. I know for some of you guys, hearing that, like, oh my gosh, I just want to acknowledge what they said and then I want to completely ignore it. How mean or rude or whatever. I'm just telling you guys, their job is to wiggle. And when you get over there, you got to have the right heart set. You got to have the right mindset. You got to, actually care about these people and do the right thing when you sit down with them. Okay. Like, there's other agencies that they don't care about doing the right thing. I'm telling you, you need to care about doing the right thing for these people. I am never, ever, ever, not once in my life, scheduling an appointment with someone to sell them something that they don't want, they don't need, that, isn't in their best interest. Okay. Ever. I'm not doing that. So yeah, I'm going to acknowledge what they said. I'm going to ignore it. And then I'm going to move on. Okay. So I can get over to see them and see if I can actually help them. You know what I mean? But their job is to wiggle, and they're going to try to wiggle. Okay. So you're going to acknowledge it, you're going to ignore it, and then you're going to move on. So, if they say, oh, well, I'm not interested anymore. Okay. Not interested. That's one of the objections that we'll get. In fact, if you guys have objections that you're getting on the phones right now currently, then let me know. Put them in the chat. Okay. So one of the objections is going to be not interested. Another one is going to be, can you mail it? Can you mail it to me? Okay. Some of them are going to say already got it taken care of. Already took care of it, you might say. Hopefully you guys can see my letters. Already took care of it. If you guys have more, put them in there. So Here's what you do. All right, Susan. So they've got, my job is real simple. They've got me out on your side of town the next couple of days, getting this information out to you and about 10 of their families that requested it as well. Are you typically around in the mornings, afternoons, or evenings for about 10 to 15 minutes for me to get this to you? Well, Nick, I'm just not interested anymore. I don't want it. I don't need it. Blah, 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 blah. Not interested. Okay. Yep. Yeah, I totally get that. So the way this works, Susan, is when you fill this out and request the information, I'm just the information guy that has to get it out to you because you requested it. And whatever you do with it after that is all up to you. And I can do that. Like I said, I'll be out that way. Are you going to be around in the morning or in the afternoon or the evening for about 10 to 15 minutes? You want to, acknowledge the thing. Okay, yeah, totally get it. Like I said, ignore it. Maybe I gave her a reason. I did give her a reason, but then I'm going to move on. Hey, I'm just the information guy. It's just my job to get you the information because you requested it. And right here too, what you want to do is always, 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 when they have an objection, once you get to this part right here, you need to say, like what needs to automatically come out of your mouth is basically mornings. I totally cool, totally get it, but I'm gonna be out that way tomorrow. You around in the mornings, afternoons, evenings for about 10 to 15 minutes. Okay. You need to answer the objection and end that answer with a question. That question being, are you typically around in the mornings, afternoons, evenings? Okay. All right. That's one way you could say I'm not interested. Can you mail it? Okay. I had a lady, in fact, we'll probably put the recording up on the website here soon. This is, I don't know, last week. And she was like, hey, can you just mail it to me? And I basically just read the script. Okay. In there, it says like, oh gosh, yeah, I wish I could. It would make my job a whole lot easier. But I can't. We have to verify that you're you and that you're upright and breathing. And so we'll be out that way tomorrow. Are you usually around in the mornings, afternoons, or evenings for about 10 to 15 minutes? I'm gonna acknowledge it. Gosh, yeah, I know. I wish I could. I'm gonna ignore it. I'm just gonna ignore it, and then I'm gonna move on. So I'm gonna be out that way. I got to get you the info because you requested it. Are you typically around in the mornings, afternoons, or evenings for about 10 to 15 minutes? All right. What did they say? I already took care of it. Oh my, same thing. Okay, you're going to acknowledge it. Okay, yep, that's great. I just have to get you the updated 2023 options, and especially because you sent in this form requesting it, it's my job just to get it out to you. So I can do that tomorrow, or I'll be out there on Wednesday as well. Are you guys usually around in the mornings, afternoons, evenings for about 10 to 15 minutes? I'm acknowledging it. Okay, yep, that's great. Just got to get you the new stuff. Basically ignoring it, moving on. Okay, and maybe I just have my wife do it. I'm going to be at work. Anonymous said that. If someone says that, I'd be like, all right, John, well, it is, this is important. You put your info on there. Like I said, we're talking about the state regulated life insurance plans. If I do sit down with your wife, would she be able to make a decision on your behalf, or would you prefer to be there? Oh, well, I would prefer to be there. Okay, great. So when are you guys typically home together? And like, that's what I'll ask people. If they say, oh, well, my wife, I'm gonna be gone, but my wife is at home. I'm like, okay, well, when are you guys usually together? Well, evenings. Okay. So is 5 o'clock good, or would 6:30, be better for you guys? Oh, come at 5, before dinner. Okay, great. Some good lines. And if you guys have more objections in there, let me know. I will talk about them. I mean, this is just the basic framework. And I'm telling you guys, if you were to watch me dial, and some of you have, like we've dialed together, I don't say anything crazy. I don't say anything unique. I don't say anything special. I just follow the dang stuff. All right. And I sound bored when I'm on the phone doing it. All right. And then when I get to their house, like I'm regular, like I'm normal. I'm like, hey, what's up, Susan? Like, how are you? I'm low energy on the phone, high energy at the home. And this is the part where people, at the beginning, this part feels daunting. Okay, now I kind of like getting objections, because I in my head I kind of like to see how many objections they give me on the phone, that I have to overcome, because what'll happen sometimes is you'll feel it on the phone, like if they give you like 2 or more objections and you just kind of keep going, like, yeah, listen, I'm just the information guy. It's just my job to get you the info because you requested it. I can do that tomorrow or Wednesday, but are you guys usually around in the morning, mornings, afternoons, evenings, 10, 15 minutes? You will, if you do a good job at overcoming objections, and just scheduling something with them. You don't let them wiggle out of it. You'll kind of feel them like eventually just go, man, mornings, what's this about again? It's about the life insurance. Okay, yeah, come on, dude, come on by. And like they might sound a little bit like defeated if you overcome too many objections. Okay, just know like that's someone who's just resistant. Like they want somebody to come over and comfortably, reasonably help them figure this out. Like they sent in a dang form talking about life insurance. How many of us want to sit around and talk about dying? Okay. And what that means for our family financially? Like, no, we're not trying to sit around and do that. Okay. Nobody's trying to sit around and do that. Neither are these people, but they need to. It's important. It's important. And it's important enough to them that they took the time out of their day one day when they were reading their mail and this thing said state regulated life insurance. They wrote their name, they wrote their age, their wife's age, their address, they rewrote their address on there and they put their phone number on there so you could call them. Okay. Those are the people that you're calling. All right. Just realize that they're going to wiggle a little bit, but when you get over there, like, eight times out of 10, there's a need, there's a want, like they want to get something taken care of. It's important to them. They want to take care of their family, when they're gone. They don't want to get sold. Okay. And, tonight's not the call for that, but, when you do go sit in their house, you need to care about them. You need to care about, what they're trying to accomplish here. You need to find out why they sent the form and you need to find out, how can we help them? You know what I mean? And, not get upset if we can't help them. Okay. Like there's some people out there, like we can't help them. All right. Maybe they're crazy. Okay. But maybe they've already got something that they set up 20 years ago and it's really good. You can't be upset if you can't help them. But I would venture to say that like 8 out of 10. Like if you're good at this, 8 out of 10 of the people you sit down with out there that fill out one of those cards, like the lead is a sale. If it just kind of is, you know what I mean? At least 8 out of 10 of them are. 2 out of 10, you could be Mark Hutchison and you could not sell 2 out of 10. Okay, those people are just crazy. They're rude. They're not nice. They're those are the ones that might be mean to you or whatever. 2 out of 10, you're not going to sell no matter how good you are. Okay, 2 out of 10, the other 2 out of 10, okay, you're going to sell even if you suck, right? Like you could, I heard someone say it, like you could make fun of their kids, okay, and they're still going to buy life insurance from you or the next guy that comes by or the next girl that comes by. Okay, it's the other 6 where if you get good at booking the appointments. Okay, you get good at this, then you get in front of those 6. You get in front of those 6 and you start to build your skills when it comes to talking with people and, building the why and helping them figure this out. Being of service to them and helping them figure this out. That's where you start to chip away at the other, the other 6 out of 10. And so I think we got a couple more objections in here. Let's see. Oh, my children said they're taking care of my funeral. That's a good one. Saying, oh, okay, cool. Well, what happens here, Dolores, is when you fill this out, we get assigned to your case. And so I got assigned to your case and I just have to get you the information because you requested it. Whatever you do with it from there, that's all up to you anyways. So I can come by. I'll be out that way. Like I said, tomorrow I'll be over there in Houston tomorrow. Are you guys usually around in the mornings, afternoons, or evenings for about 10 to 15 minutes? That's probably what I would say. Like them saying, oh, well, my kids are going to take care of it. Great. That's fantastic. Hey, I'm really glad to hear that. It's just my job to get you the information because you requested it. So I'll be out there tomorrow, mornings, afternoons, evenings, 10, 15 minutes. How many calls do you typically need to make to get your 20 appointments in person? That is a great question, dude. Let's see. Oh, we got all the questions coming in now. All right, sweet. So I would say this, Matthew, thanks for asking that, dude. I don't have a number for like when I was running 20 in-person appointments per week. Okay. And I did for a long time. I didn't put a dial number on it. Okay. In fact, I would track my dials, but I never put a number to it. Probably 200, 250 to 300. I don't know. Like the way that my mindset is with this, Matthew, is if I'm going to set 20 appointments, I'm going to dial until I get my 20 appointments. And there was days where I promise you I made more dials when I didn't want to make more dials. I did not go home when I wanted to go home and stop making the dials, but I needed to make the 20 appointments because I needed to make the money. And if I didn't get the appointments, then I wasn't going to make the money. And I just held myself to that standard. So the answer to that, a lot, potentially, unless you get, sometimes you get lucky and you get your 10 appointments or 8 appointments or whatever by noon. But, if that's not the case, then, yeah. So let's see here. Is it free? I don't have money for that. I thought it was free. Hey, Stephanie. Yeah, so what you'd sent in, the little form says fill out this for the benefit information. And that benefit information is completely and totally free. Whatever you do with that information afterwards, that's all completely up to you. But I just got to get you the information. So I can do that tomorrow in the morning, afternoon, or evening. Are you guys typically around in the mornings, afternoons, or evenings for about 10-15 minutes? What do you say when they ask if it costs anything or if it's free with the state? So some of them, if they're getting spicy with me on that, because that happens, people fill this out. I'll put it to you guys this way: if someone reads the form, they don't think it's free. It clearly says on there, not provided by government funds. Not provided by government funds, but people don't read, so they fill stuff out, they think it's free. So what I'll say to them, like, oh, is this free? I'm like, hey, yeah. So what you'd sent in, this is what the form says, not provided by government funds. And at the at the end of the day, I'm just the information guy anyways, so it's just my job to get you the information because you requested it. And whatever you do with that information, that's all up to you. And so I can do that tomorrow. Are you guys usually around in the mornings, afternoons, or evenings for about 10 to 15 minutes? That's probably where most of you guys are screwing up, is you'll answer their question, okay? And then you stop. You'll say, yeah, so I'm just the information guy, gonna get you the information, blah, 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 blah. And then they're like, oh, okay, well, I'm not interested. Bye. All right, and you're like, ugh. You need to answer their question with your question, which is, hey, are you typically around in the mornings, afternoons, or evenings for about 10 to 15 minutes? No longer interested, take me off your list. Hey, Milana, that's okay. That actually makes my job super simple. I'm just the information guy, so it's my job to get you the information because you requested it. And if you're not interested, I'm going to note that right here. And so in that case, I'll certainly be brief, but I do got to get it out to you. So are you usually home in the mornings, afternoons, or evenings for about 10 to 15 minutes? That's what I'd say to that. What have you found to be the most successful times to schedule your dials? I would call in the mornings. I would call in the afternoons. I would call in the evenings. Evenings are the best time, statistically speaking, after 4 p.m., best time to call. I wouldn't wait to make your dials till after 4 p.m. because inevitably something will come up that day at 4 p.m. You know what I mean? So I would dial in the mornings from whatever, 9 to 11. I would dial from the afternoons, 11 or 1 to 3. And then I would dial in the evenings, let's say 4 to 6. And if you break that down, that's legit 6 hours of making phone calls. Okay, like if I told you, like, hey, sit down and make phone calls for 6 hours, go run appointments. Okay, let's say the next day is a full day of appointments. You run 8 hours worth of appointments, and then dial again on Wednesday, 6 more hours, and then go run 8 more appointments on Thursday. Okay, 6, 8, 6, 8. Okay, 12 plus 16. I should be better at math. Whatever that comes out to. That's like 28 hours a week. Okay. And I'm telling you, that's enough to make 6 figures in this business. All right. You ought to want to do more than 16 appointments a week. You ought to shoot to do 20 appointments a week. But that's what we're talking about. And everybody wants to wiggle out of the work. Everybody wants to wiggle out of, making the dials and doing what it takes to win. And that's it. It's just, staying on the phone until you get the appointments, So I'll hang out on here for another couple minutes, y'all. Keep answering questions. What do you do when they hang up on you? Do you call back or move on? That's a great question. So I will, someone hangs up on me, I call them back. Hey, let me rephrase that. It depends on how they hang up on me. If they hang up on me and they're like, I might call that one back for fun. Like dial them back like just for fun, just to see what they say. But I'm not expecting an appointment. Sometimes sometimes they just, especially if let me tell you guys this. If they hang up on you early in the phone call, it's your tone. It's your tone. You're talking too fast. If you want to piss off somebody between the ages of 50 and 80, which guess who we're sending these things out to? People between ages 50 and 80. If you want to piss them off, talk too fast. Especially, okay, the people that are 70, 80, 85. Like you talk too fast to them on the phone, they're hanging up on you in 2 seconds. So you got to be low. You got to be slow. You want to be very polite. Okay, but don't be a pushover. You know what I mean? Like you want to be nice, you want to be cordial. Okay, if you notice when I'm going through in my head the script, like I'm cordial. Even if they say, "Oh, I'm not interested," but I'm like, yeah, that totally makes sense. Like I'm cordial and I'm nice. But if you're getting hung up on early in the phone call, it's something with your tone, your speed, how fast you're talking, something like that. If you're getting hung up on later on in the call, maybe you said something that made them mad. Maybe you're not following the script, or you sounded uncertain. Okay, I see that a lot, where instead of reading the script, what people will do is they'll think about the script while they're saying it. Like I said at the beginning of the call, like don't do that. All right, you're going to sound uncertain. You're better off reading it. At least you know what to say. Okay, and you're not going to sound uncertain. So awesome, y'all. Appreciate you guys. If we got a couple more questions, I can hang out for a few more minutes. Let me know if y'all got some good stuff out of this. Let me know. A couple of quick things while we're wrapping this up. We have our event in Atlanta over Labor Day weekend, and we'll get it up for you guys. We'll post it up in the Telegram chat again. But we still have rooms at the hotel. Okay, which very well could sell out. It's kind of a resort type place. So it could sell out if you're coming to the event, you want to stay where the event's at. The place is incredible. It's awesome. So you definitely want to get that booked. The tickets to that event are on legacylife.co. I thought it was a simple thing, but it's not. I will post it up in the chat. The web address, or if someone else could, that would be awesome. Let's see, legacylife.co/agent portal. Y'all should go check out the website if you haven't already. We've got all kinds of stuff in there, and we've got I think we've got our event back there. Yes, we do. Yeah, so just go to legacylife.co/agent portal, and then you'll be able to click on events, and then you'll be able to go buy tickets for the event right there. Let me just show you guys this. Sweet. So here's all the details for it. So like I said, legacylife.co/agent portal, click on events right there. And then it'll talk about the event right here. You click on buy tickets, or $50. And here's, I guess, the point of me, having you guys know to come to this event. This event, I assure you, I am not doing this event for, we are not doing this event for self-promotion. We're not doing this event for giggles. Are we going to have fun? You bet. But we are doing this event to give you guys the nuts and bolts, A to Z. What does it take to do this business? Okay, so we have an event coming up, with our, with the Alliance, with our IMO, where, that event is, it's going to be heavily focused on personal growth, personal development, that kind of stuff. And so we wanted to put together like a nuts and bolts training for all of you guys to come to, so we can teach you all of this stuff, how to dial, how to do the in-home, how to get referrals, how to help with them with their current coverage, how to write more annuity business, like all that stuff. Okay, so, this isn't going to be like some rah-rah, type event. Like, it's going to be nuts and bolts from 9 to 5 on that Saturday. Okay, so I would encourage you, get signed up for that event, bring people to that event. If you got people that you want to learn how, that you want them to learn from people that are making six figures, multiple six figures, and millions of dollars in this business, then get them there, because we're going to take the gloves off. We're just going to give you everything. Okay, and so and Laura just posted, thank you, Laura, the link to book the rooms in there. So yeah, and let me just, nope, cool.